why don't I have like anything set up? Oof. I think I'd be better at this. Man, I've been streaming for like I don't know, a couple of years, and I'm still bad at it. Don't have music going. Although actually, I had to like change. I had to remove like one of the best pieces of Minecraft music from my stream playlist because apparently that song gets struck on YouTube for some reason. Like, it's like one of the most famous Minecraft songs, right? It's the oh god, that quick launch is awesome. I just like I press it and it automatically connects me to the server and it does everything. It's awesome. Wow, what a thing. Anyway, time to place more lava. Might actually drop off some like tools this time. YouTube's it's an interesting system because like every time I'm like, okay, I'm trying to like I'm not exactly like optimizing anything because all I ever upload are stream VODs because I don't really want to edit videos. I've done like work in After Effects before for a class, and everything just takes so long. And also, I didn't really learn how to edit videos, I learned how to make special effects. So, I don't know how to edit videos properly. I don't know what parts of videos are funny or what'll get people's attention. I watched like 2 interviews with Mr. Beast once. That should count as a video editing degree, right? It's close enough to actual knowledge. He makes millions of dollars, and I watched a video where he talked about how he makes millions of dollars. That's the same as skill. So but like every time I watch like any interview with any YouTuber ever, their one thing is it's like, man, I don't like editing very much. Because it takes time, it takes effort. Ugh. Like now that they're like, ugh, effort. I need to put out the smallest amount of effort to keep my job. Ooh, ah. But it's not fun. It's the least interesting part of content creation because it's not really creating anything. You're polishing what you've already created, and that's no fun. I've had to do that for projects. I mean, look at this. I'm doing it right now. Polishing up a project. Doing the final step. Mouse, please work. Ugh. Last night, I was playing like the New Game Plus of Alan Wake 2 because I realized that I wasn't playing it. Like, I wasn't playing it because I was like, oh, I don't want to get all my items and stuff again. And I realized I didn't have to, and I'm just stupid. So I'm trying to go for like more completion this time. But anyway, I was trying to do combat, and like maybe I get. Oh, I don't think I have any arrows. No. But like it would like kind of like go up, and then it would stop, and then it would. Maybe I could show it with a trident. So instead of like doing this, where it would just fully go, it would kind of like. Because, well, who needs a mouse that functions, eh? You can just a skill issue, you know? So that was a lot of fun. Especially because every time I die in Alan Wake 2, I have to wait for it to load, and that takes forever. So I die, and it's like, oh boy, literally minutes of gameplay time is gone. Because I'm playing it on not an SSD. as my SSD has been like essentially full since I got my computer. Because, you know, it has... Oh. I've been trying to work on that. Like, you know, I originally just... Whenever I downloaded something, it would just... God. Man, and the thing is, I have a nice mouse, too. It's just bad at being a mouse. It's also not mine. I mean, it's technically my brother's, but whatever. He's not using it anymore. He's got probably a better one. I mean, I think originally I was using like the mouse that came with my my pre-built, and that was not a good mouse. So this one's at least like made by a company that makes mice instead of a company that pre-builds computers. Thing is I know, like, I'm gonna finish this lake at some point. Like, this whole thing's gonna be filled in. It's gonna take so long. But at some point it's gonna be filled in. And then I need to fill in another thing. It won't take as long. Nowhere near the size. But it's like, ugh, I'm gonna spend so many hours just placing lava. I mean, I guess it's marginally better than spending hours placing netherrack. Well, actually not really. 'Cause I can't waste netherrack, technically. I can't easily waste netherrack. I can easily waste a lot of lava by just double placing it. Placing a block in the wrong spot or whatever. And then it's gone. It's just like, oh, there goes a cubic meter of lava. Whoops. There it is. And see, there we go. There's one wasted. I mean, you can't do a project of this size without just ungodly sums of waste. Like, I can't imagine... Well, I can't imagine, actually. There's stats for it. But just the amount of netherrack that I never gathered because I didn't need it originally. Like, because who needs netherrack? It's netherrack. It's not exactly beautiful. Although I actually recently saw a build that used it really well. I mean, it wasn't the original purpose of the build. Like, it didn't... The build originally didn't have netherrack in it. But when it was added as a funny troll, it looked pretty good. Sorry, there's dogs barking. I'm trying to make sure that it's not my dog. I'm almost certain it's not, but, you know, these things happen. Anyway, as I've been, like, playing through the Alan Wake games, both of them. Well, technically there's 3, but the third one isn't canon, so why even play it? Especially Alan Wake 2, like, just, like, it keeps making me kind of want to play Control again. But also, I really don't love replaying games. Like, the only games I've ever finished multiple times, Minecraft, technically, but I don't really count that. I've finished Hollow Knight multiple times. Strange, I know. Who could ever imagine that I enjoy Hollow Knight? Definitely didn't, like, inspire my username, and definitely don't use an avatar constantly that is from Hollow Knight. That'd be hilarious. I've finished Fallout New Vegas a few times, but then again, who hasn't? Skyrim? Maybe? I actually don't know if on my second playthrough I ever finished the main story. I don't think so. I don't remember finishing the main story again. No, I don't think I did. That's really it. Like I don't replay games, even games that like have replay value. Like I mean the games with most replay value, like roguelikes and stuff, I just don't enjoy very much. I have a lot of friends who really enjoy roguelikes, and the only one I've ever enjoyed was Cult of the Lamb. Like, I played Hades for a while, and it was fine. I had no ill will against it. It looked good, it played pretty good. It's just... I know how long those dungeons are, and I have no want to spend 30 minutes or an hour getting... Fuck. Why am I flying? Why am I in fly mode? Place a block. That was cool. I love when server lag almost kills me. Damn it, that's what I was doing. Like, yeah, no hate towards Hades. It's just not a genre I like. I played BPM bullets per minute for a while. Finished that once or twice. But beyond that, really, like, that's the only roguelike I think I've ever finished. Like, I know why people like them. I can see that. Something about like the endless replay value and sometimes crushing challenge. Yeah, you know what? I know multiple people who spent just so many hours in Binding of Isaac. And I can look at it and be like, yeah, I can understand that. But also, I'll know that I wouldn't spend that much time in it. Yeah, I've tried. I've tried the best the genre has to offer, apparently. And it's just never been my thing. How did I even get on this? Oh, right, replaying games. So it's just, I hate, like, when I played Ruin 6 months ago, or whatever, that, like, third playthrough was miserable. Because I was like, oh god, I've done all of this already today. So if it's a game that's, like, too scripted, that's one of the reasons I was like, oof, I don't know if I really want to play Alan Wake 2 again. Because I was like, ugh, it's really scripted. I don't know, I kind of have a problem with scripted games. You know what, I've played Breath of the Wild twice, but I never actually beat Ganon in Master Mode. I think I got all 4 champions and did essentially everything you had to do, and just, like, never actually beat the big man himself. But I did get most of the way there. Just never did. Which is actually the story of a lot of games I've played. Got most of the way to the end and then just didn't. I started replaying Elden Ring on New Game Plus. And never finished it. Maybe Dark Souls 3. Meaning to go back and play it since I played Elden Ring. I was looking at it, it's like, man, when I first played Dark Souls 3, I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I don't even think I ever really, like, leveled strength or dex or anything. I think I just went for vigor and endurance. Not even called that. Vitality? I don't know. Too much Elden Ring. You don't play, like, 90 hours of a game in a few weeks and remember the names for something in a different game. I need to go back and do that. I got hard stuck on the Pontiff Sullivan. He was just too quick. I feel like I could easily beat him now. I mean, I beat Millennia, which isn't really saying much, because according to Steam achievements, like 30% of Elden Ring players beat her, and I... Oh god, again. Come on. And I somehow doubt that number quite a bit. Like, Steam achievements are usually inflated. You know, people use, like, Steam Achievement Manager or whatever, and you just click a button, and you have the achievement. But for Millennia specifically, I feel like it was such a... For Souls players, it became such a, like, a reward to beat her. She wasn't, like, the most difficult boss I think I've ever faced. She wasn't easy. You know, she took quite a few tries, but... You know, a little bit of luck, and I beat her. A little bit of luck and Mimic Tear. First phase, not second phase. Probably would have been helpful second phase. But 30% seems really high. And my reasoning for that is, as someone who's played and beaten Hollow Knight all except for Pantheon 5. I've tried a lot. I've streamed some of it. Only like 70% of people, I think it's actually like 69.4% or something. Only that many players beat False Knight, who isn't even early game. It isn't like overly tough. He isn't easy. Well, actually, I first tried him somehow, so I can't really speak on his difficulty. But like, most players, well, not most, like a third of players never beat False Knight. I think only like 60% beat Hornet. So the fact that over 30% are supposed to beat Millennia, who is out of the way as it is, sitting in the Haligtree, I don't know if I believe it. Maybe I should have more faith in people, but I really don't. Like, I do believe almost anyone could beat her, but do I think that 30% of people actually tried, much less actually did it? I know you could call for help, and, you know, over 1,000 people had Let Me Solo or help them. Well, if you can count carrying entirely as help. But it's such a large number. Maybe there is an excess of people specifically helping players beat Millennia. But 30% is really high. Getting the secret medallion isn't easy. I don't even remember how to get it. There's like quite a few steps getting the secret medallion. You then have to realize you got all the parts of it and then know how to go to the Haligtree. Well, you then have to get to Consecrated Snowfields, then you have to beat Sardinia? You have to beat the town that's there. You gotta like get through that whole thing, and then once you're done with all of that, you can then get to the Haligtree, which you then have to get through the whole area, which sucks because of the amount of Scarlet Rot you can get. You then have to beat Royal Knight Loretta. Well, Knight of the Haligtree. Loretta. Like, there's so many steps to getting to Malenia. And, like, Loretta isn't an easy boss. She isn't, like, crushing, but she would take quite a few attempts. That whole area just kind of sucks by design. And I really have my doubts that 30% of players got there and did the whole thing. But, you know, I don't know. Maybe Elden Ring was just that good that 30% of people, even ones who had like never played a Souls game before, were like, you know what? You know, this hardest boss in the game that even veteran players screw up on all the time. Oh, dog. I don't know what she's barking at. It's probably nothing. She loves just barking at nothing. Like, sometimes I'll just be, like, lying in bed or whatever, and she'll just go off for minutes on end. Literally minutes. And then I'll come out, and I'll be like, what's going on? And she's just lying on the couch, barking at nothing. No sounds, nothing. She's just barking. It's really awesome. It's the greatest thing. Oh, I really should not be parkouring around this area. But anyway, I liked Elden Ring. I kind of feel like I cheesed a lot of it. Like, I get to bosses, like, I get to like late game bosses and just kind of destroyed them. Like, I got to the point where if a boss took me more than a few tries, it would be a challenge. Like, I mean, there's like the boss fights that are sometimes like, oh yeah, well, like Ofnir wasn't exactly an overwhelming challenge, but I felt like just like getting Mimic Tear just kind of ruined everything. Like, it just made everything so easy because I just had another version of myself. Sure, it couldn't heal, but it had so much health. Like, my god, I can't imagine what it was like before it got nerfed. Because using it after it got nerfed, I was still like, this is insane. This item is insane. Especially because it's so easy to get if you know what you're doing. Like, you have to beat the Mimic version of yourself, which, if you're good at menuing quickly, you can just completely cheese by not having any weapons on in your hands or no armor on. And then sometimes, oh, okay, you have to get through Nascella, right? No, Nascella's the other one. Nokron. Yeah, you have to get through most of Nokron to get it. But if you're already down in Nokron, you're probably not going to have a huge challenge. It's probably not going to be a huge challenge. Not going to be an overwhelmingly difficult area. Not like... The thing about Elden Ring is it's like none of the areas are like easy, but none of them were an unbearable challenge. Which was nice. Because you know, sometimes there's just that area in the games, and you're like, ugh, I don't even want to. I don't even want to think about this area, much less actually beat it again or do anything with it. I can't really think of any areas like that right now. I would think Deep Nest from Hollow Knight, but I kind of like that area. Crystal Peak sometimes, just because of those fucking fly things. God, those are annoying. Crystal flies. Those are probably one of the worst enemies in the game, with like no competition. Then again, I was trying to. At some point, I tried to do the blind parkour section in Crystal Peaks without the lantern, because when I dropped into Crystal Peaks, I didn't have it, so I was stuck there. Because it's the first place I went after the city. Because I happened to remember, I happen to remember the giant breakable floor. I was like, oh, that's clearly where I'm supposed to go next, even though there's quite a few areas you could get to. But that's just become my route. It's kind of crazy thinking like I've beaten a game enough, I have like a route I take through it every time. It's the one I took the first time I played. It's just the one I remember. I've been altered slightly. Although one time, when I was beating it again, I got all the way to Laurelin, and I forgot the freaking Dream Nail. Like I beat Watcher Knights, and was all the way up in the tower and was like, oh, I'm missing some, Man, what a great game. I've tried playing a few other Metroidvanias over the past few years. Just none of them hit the same, you know? Like, I played Metroid Dread for a while. Yeah, I actually got quite a ways through it. Never beat it. I have Blasphemous. And I was playing it, and then I don't know, I got distracted by something. I started playing Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Yeah. I remember that Castlevania had a game that was essentially the exact same. But I don't remember what that one's called. But I started playing Bloodstained, and it was... I had some annoyances with it. I greatly disliked the fact that enemies respawned as I left the room. That was annoying. That, like, almost single-handedly is the reason I stopped playing. I get, like, oh, it's a mechanic in the game. Yeah, but, like... Oh, it's so annoying. Like, I spend time and health and magic to empty this room, and then I leave on accident. And I like, oh, this room's a dead end. And I head back, it's like, oh boy, all the enemies are back. Woo! I gotta do all that again. It's a real fun. Real awesome. Otherwise, it was fine. Has some cool boss fights. But other than that, I had core issues with it. I think that stopped me from fully enjoying it. And like every now and again, I'm like, man, sometimes I just feel like I don't like games sometimes. And then it's like, well, I happen to start playing Metroidvanias with the one everyone's like, yep, that's one of the best ones ever created. That probably didn't help. I think about like playing puzzle games, and it's like, okay, one of the first puzzle games I played was Outer Wilds, one of like one of the best ones ever made. So I think I just got spoiled early on with like entire genres of games. That kind of sucks. Sometimes I kind of sometimes did that as a kid where I would like buy famous games and then play them for a bit and then get bored for whatever reason. So like Half-Life 2 I did that with. And so I couldn't. It's a real treat having a dog that likes barking this much. Real treat. Goes outside for like 3 seconds and it's like, oh boy. Time for the orchestra. This is here. Let's see. Boiled. Oh, right. So, like, early on in my gaming endeavors, I bought Bioshock. And I never finished Bioshock 1. Like, I got stuck at some random fucking point that you don't get stuck at. Like, I think I just got, like, so turned around in a completely linear area. And so I never finished it. And it's like, well, because I don't like replaying games very much, it took some mental effort to go back and finish Bioshock 1. I enjoyed it. I really liked the story, the world, characters. But it took some effort to go back in and beat Bioshock 1. But then I played Bioshock 2 because I hadn't played it before. I was having a great time. I really like Bioshock 2. I actually preferred Bioshock 2. I feel like I would have preferred Bioshock 1 if I hadn't played it before, but it's also fun to be contrarian sometimes and be like, ah, well, you know, I know Bioshock 1 is thought of as one of the greatest games of all time, but you know, I prefer Bioshock 2. Sometimes it's just fun to be like. It's also true, I really like Bioshock 2. Hey, at least Subject Delta. Well, okay, to be fair, Jack? The main character of Bioshock 1, I don't remember his name. I remember the name of the character from Bioshock Infinite, mostly because he was my main problem with the game. Booker DeWitt. Man, I did not particularly enjoy playing as Booker DeWitt. I don't know, something about Bioshock Infinite didn't feel like Bioshock. Like, I know that there is a DLC that allows you to go to Rapture, but it's like, fucking Rapture is like the main thing I like. It's like such a cool location. And while, yeah, Columbus or wherever is cool, it's not Rapture. Like, I don't know, I guess I feel bad going around a relatively peaceful town just murdering a bunch of people because they believe I'm gonna murder a bunch of people. I don't know, I have qualms with the story. It's just, it's fine. I think it's missing part of what made Bioshocks 1 and 2 so good, which was just this, like, story of a place that brought people so much hope. Well, some people just falling into ruin and it bringing everyone down with it. And the fact that you could have moments like, oh yeah, Rapture is falling apart at the seams. People have lost their minds. You know, you got characters like the Doctor who's just insane. And then in BioShock Infinite, everyone's just normal. Right? Like no one's like particularly insane or anything. They're just yeah, I'm gonna go deal with the dog real quick because at some point it becomes too much. I'll be right back. It's always fun to have a dog whose breed is known for barking a lot. Well, one of the breeds that she's classified as. Let's see. I love wasting dozens of lava buckets on like one spot on accident because the flowing doesn't make any sense. Anyway, to end off the whole thing about BioShock, I enjoyed BioShock. I liked it. It was good. Never finished Infinite. I don't love games that are like pseudo open world, but you have like no real choices. And also, I don't know, I have this thing where like I don't love when the character you play as is like a full character. Like I prefer like the Breath of the Wild Link kind of thing where it's yeah, they're a character and like have opinions, but it doesn't really matter. You have enough freedom and you can just ignore the fact that Link can technically talk and does so sometimes. Because I don't have to read it or listen to his ramblings. I just can throw chickens at people or whatever. I kind of like having full autonomy when it comes to my character. And that's not actually that common. A lot of times there's ways things have to be done. And you know, if I'm going into a game for its story, I'm fine with that. Like playing Control or Alan Wake or um, other non-Remedy games that I can't think of any off the top of my head. I don't know. Games I go into for the story. Then it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. The main character can have opinions, I guess. Like, if I were to ever play, like, Uncharted, yeah. I wouldn't be going to Uncharted for gameplay. would be for story and characters, and that's fine. But when I'm playing like Breath of the Wild, I'm not in it for the story of saving the princess for the like 30th time. I'm there for the massive open world and some of the side characters, but not like the core characters. And then if it's like that, if I know I'm going into it for story and characters, cool, that's fine. But if I'm going into it for like an open world, I don't know, my character can just shut up. I'll prefer it. Because while like I kind of went into Bioshock Infinite for the story, there wasn't like as much of a story as like the early Bioshocks. God, I know that one's bad, but why can't I hit it? See it? I can see it's right there. That block. There we go. I think. Well, I may have gone into Bioshock Infinite for the story. I don't think there was enough of it early enough that it was a reason the game kept my attention. Because it didn't, really. Probably, I mean, it's just... But that... Oh, maybe actually... I'm so used to being one block above the lava that I kind of have muscle memory for that already, instead of being like even leveled with it. Man, I got like 30 pages further into Ready Player One than I was yesterday, because maybe even further. I don't know. And I got to the point where Artemis stops talking to Parzival. And man, reading through those chat logs between them is rough. Because it's someone who's like, oh, yeah, if I... Like, I feel like there are so many chat logs out there that look exactly like that. That are like a dude trying to be like charismatic and really failing. And but also I know that most of the time, instead of the girl kind of being like, oh, this is kind of like, oh, this is kind of fun, she's like, oh, this guy's fucking creepy as shit, what the fuck. I don't know, I like the characters. I need to like go back and actually check a thread that gave a lot of criticism to Ready Player One, kind of like double check what they were talking about, kind of see if I agree, because I feel like I won't. And I know I'm probably super biased, but like sometimes it's nice to have a book that isn't amazingly written. Like, yeah, I enjoy reading authors like Stephen King, but sometimes I don't need a Stephen King level book. Sometimes all you need is a book with a fun world and fun characters. There's a series called, I think, Spirit Animals. Pretty obviously like young adults, like fantasy made so that you can self-insert super easily. Which, hey, you know what? If it sells, it sells. I feel like I'm speaking weirdly. I don't know why. Anyway, with Spirit Animals, I feel like I'm saying my S's wrong. Huh. Anyway, maybe I'm just focusing on my talking too much. Anyway, with spirit animals, they're not good books. They're really not. They're pretty average to bad most of the time. But you know, you just kind of sometimes you just kind of want that, right? You just kind of want a book that's like, oh, this is just like it's like watching a bad movie. You know, it's kind of refreshing sometimes. Like if every book I read all the time was as good as The Stand by Stephen King, what's the point of reading, you know? Like, if every book is just that good, then I'm just gonna stop enjoying books that are that good. Sometimes you can be like, yeah, this book's not awesome, but it's kind of fun, you know? Same with TV shows. Sometimes you need one of those just not even so bad it's good kind of things, just the low quality run of the mill, but it has some character, you know? Those are nice. And like, if it's so bad it's good, you can only do one of those every now and again. Like, I couldn't always watch Willy's Wonderland. It's a good... It's an entertaining movie. I've also seen it like 4 times. But I couldn't watch it all the time. Because then it stopped being funny. It stopped being hilariously bad. Like, oh my god. You get to the point in the movie where the siren Sarah, I think, because whatever, kids' characters, not named particularly well, comes in and it's like, it's obvious it's just some lady in a mask doing like robot movements, and not very well either. Oh, did I run out of netherrack? Put it down somewhere? Oh, I ran out. Okay. Interesting. Like, it's just bad. Like, you look at it and you're like, they acted out this scene, saw that, and was like, yep, that's good enough. This lady obviously doing, like, the robot arm thing while in a latex mask, that's all we need, that's good enough. Ship it. It's that kind of stuff. Couldn't watch it every time because I would be depressed, because it's like, oh man, this is a bad movie. But every now and again, you know, like you're watching it with friends and you're like, yeah, this is a good movie to watch with friends. That's the first. That's oof. That was a weird way of saying that. The first time I ever saw it, I don't remember why. I was at a friend's house, and they were like, "Oh man, we should watch a movie." And it's like, okay. And they were kind of in between watching Willy's Wonderland and the Banana Splits, which I've never seen the Banana Splits. I've heard it's fine. Pretty similar. Not very good, but pretty entertaining. And we watched it as a group, and it's like, oh, this movie is a cinematic masterpiece. But not at all, actually. This movie kind of sucks, but it's really funny. And then, like, they watched it like 2 other times that week, and I just happened to always be around, like in the room they were watching it. So I watched it like 4 times that week, and then I watched it with friends later on YouTube, like through Discord. So it was at like maybe 360p, because this version that we were watching on YouTube, because I bought it on YouTube. I did. I rented it on YouTube. But you can't stream movies on YouTube. So it's like, yeah, I rented this movie, but I can't like stream it or anything to friends. Um, so we found a pirated version of it on YouTube, and it was some dude on YouTube on his phone screen recording the movie on YouTube. So it was buckets. Oh, I didn't finish that one or that one. Oh, Jesus! Think about Willy's Wonderland too much. But anyway, just like one of those films. I think we're actually gonna do it again soon. Uh, with another bad movie. I also watched like 3 of the Transformers movies in one sitting with friends. Because one of my friends likes the Transformers movies, and I was like, yeah, they're not like. I was like, well, they're pretty like not awesome. I was like, what? No, they're pretty good. And so we kind of. So we just like watched a bunch of them. Like I think it was like a party, essentially. It was a going away party. Just to be like, are you sure you like really these movies? I believe his opinions of the movies changed slightly during those viewings. It was a lot of fun. There's something great about watching bad movies with friends. Because you aren't like if you're, dude, come on, really? Like if you're watching a good movie with friends, it's like, yeah, you're gonna be watching a good movie, but you can't like talk really during it. You're just watching a movie, and there you have to be with friends. But if you're watching a bad movie, then you can spend the whole time like shitting on the movie, and that's a lot of fun. But if you're just like, oh yeah, this is just a good movie, then you're kind of missing that whole thing. Like for my friend and I, for my friends and oh god, I can't speak today. Everything's terrible, even though it's not. Everything's normal. I feel like I'm talking weird. Like, anyway, for our next movie night, originally I was like, oh man, I kind of want to watch John Wick, but then I was like, ugh, but what? Did they come all the way down here just to fight me? Oh, he died. Just murdered probably like a friend, and you want to go after me so badly because I'm not wearing gold? Isn't that like, isn't gold like part of your religion or not? You fine with me not wearing it? Doesn't even read the Constitution. Doesn't know about religious freedom. Anyway, I was like, oh man, but I watched John Wick with friends. I'd just be watching John Wick. This is just a good movie. So, one of my friends had mentioned that you can watch Velocipaster on YouTube for free. And so that's... I double checked. And the studio who made it uploaded it as a regular video. Which means if you want to stream it to your friends, you can. Because it's just a regular video. There's also the movie version of it on YouTube. Because there's like YouTube movies, and if it's one of those, you can't stream it. They have that thing where if you're trying to take a screenshot or anything, it'll just black out the screen. Which is super annoying, because every now and again it's like, oh man, I want to take a screenshot of this funny moment in this anime or whatever I'm watching. And it's like, haha, no. It's like, okay, fine, whatever. I mean, I get it, but people pirate the movies anyway? Like, you're not gonna stop them. Like, it's just not possible to stop pirates. People have tried for literally decades, and it's never worked. Place the fucking lava. So I like it when studios are like, alright, look, just here's the whole fucking thing as a YouTube video, have fun. You're gonna make it into one anyway, might as well do it without like Russian subtitles or whatever. Because who speaks Russian and uses regular YouTube? I think they may have their own platforms. I know China does. Maybe Russia does. Actually, I think like some of the largest creators on YouTube are Russian. And like only speak Russian. It's a pretty big market. Somehow. I know that there's a YouTuber who got pretty famous for just redoing Mr. Beast videos, but like really poorly. And they gained quite the following. And I mean, it's like the, you know, oh, we camped on a island for a week or whatever. And you know, Mr. Beast at least on an island, but like this dude's on like in like a studio with like a painted backdrop and like a green screen or whatever. It's like, okay, what? Okay, I guess. You, man. Also, I feel so bad for the dude in Mr. Beast's newest video. Because I watch all of his videos for the most part. Ooh, wow. Okay. And so seeing this dude lose 3 videos in a row, ugh, that sucks. He doesn't even, he's gotten nothing. He's been in 3 Mr. Beast videos and has gained nothing. Usually people at least like, you know, they'll get like 10 grand or whatever. But I don't know if this guy's won anything. I think he's just lost like $2 million in Mr. Beast video. Like, I don't think he's got like a huge online presence or anything. Like, usually, like, if there's like a content creator or something who's like in Mr. Beast videos, it'll kind of push him up quite a bit. And then there's times where it's just like, yeah, it's just one of his 100 million subscribers. And I've been subscribed to Mr. Beast since like 20 million subscribers or something. And okay, technically one time I was invited to a challenge, but it was for Mr. Beast Gaming, and I had school that day. And also, the team I would have been on lost anyway, so I didn't even like notice till afterwards, like, because I like rarely check Discord notifications now, but especially not then. So when I saw that's like, oh, I was invited to a Mr. Beast Gaming challenge, that would have been pretty cool. But nope. School. But that's also Mr. Beast Gaming. It was way easier to get into those challenges because they were usually a lot larger, even early on. And, you know, they're not. He has like the way you got into those challenges was through his Discord, which still exists, just not used for anything anymore. Like, it literally has nothing. I'm looking at it right now. And it has a welcome channel that's completely empty. So, you know, pretty cool. But that would have been pretty awesome to have been a Mr. Beast Gaming video. At least I would have been able to make like some content out of it because I wouldn't be able to record it. I don't think you could stream it, but I didn't really stream as much then. I didn't really do as much of anything then. Because, you know, full-time school is... It's hard to do anything when you're full-time in school. Much less, like, do something that takes, like, 2 hours minimum. Because, you know, homework and... I would say studying, but I never really do that. Probably should, but... You know, I'm passing, whatever. Didn't fail any classes. I got pretty close in middle school. But I never did. Technically. I guess it depends on what you count as failing. What the school counted as failing, I never failed. From what, like... Because it was middle school, so getting a D was, like, fine. They didn't like it, but whatever, what could they do about it? But in high school, I almost failed the class. I had like a low, I had like a mid to high C that whole semester. Actually, just the whole year. Calc. That was fun. Something. Been great if I had a good calc teacher, but I didn't. Like one time, we went and learned with the other class because we were like getting towards the AP tests. So it's like, all right, we're gonna do some, you know, multi-class studying, and we kind of like hop back and forth, where like we switch teachers for some reason, and I feel like I learned so much more in the one day I had the other teacher than I did like the whole semester I had my teacher. And when you're learning calc, that's just not acceptable. Like it's complicated enough with a good teacher, but with a bad teacher, it's just impossible. Because most of calc is just like, okay, this works. Trust me, it works. We may learn why later. And so if your teacher can't explain why, or isn't particularly good at it, then it's like, I don't get it. I mean, having a bad teacher is bad for everything, but I feel like math more so. At least if it's like writing or something, you can at least mostly figure it out by yourself. But if it's math, even though there's a lot of resources for it, you still gotta know enough to know to look for the right resources, which is easier said than done. For resources for learning math, not easy. But I managed anyway. I really scraped by, but you know, passing's passing. We're not gonna talk about the AP test though. That was a clusterfuck. I didn't really try because I didn't think I would have to. Like, for a few reasons, I was like, oh, I probably won't need to take math in college, so it should be fine. And then now I'm in college, and it's like, oh, probably should have tried. Damn. I don't think I would have passed even if I did really try. But you never know. Maybe I would have. Maybe I would have, and I wouldn't have to take pre-calc in having already taken calc AB. I won't have to take. I don't know. I probably will. I'll just deal with it. Man, taking gen ed courses in college is a whole different thing. Like in high school, you know, you can mostly just get by without doing a whole lot. But man, in college you gotta really try. Because the homework. Like I'm watching as like my friend is taking calc this semester. And you know, he'll be in like a Discord call. And it'll be like 30 minutes. And he'll be like, okay, I finished one problem. It's like, fuck. We're like already working on it before I was in call. And you just now finished it? Jesus. Although I kind of just remember calc being like that even in high school, so. Just, I guess less so. I feel like I may have been more inclined to cheat in high school. Not that I don't in college. Just rarer. And also because I'm not taking really any gen ed courses, it's kind of hard to. It's like, you know, even the vast knowledge stores of the internet doesn't have the exact code I need for whatever sorting algorithm. Well, it does, but like not exactly what I need. Like, yeah, you know, it's got code for how to make a selection sort and an insertion sort, but does it have the exact code my teacher is looking for? Probably not. Because she's looking for some. Because the way she does assignments is she writes them and, like, makes a bunch of functions for you. So like when we're doing sorts, she's like, yeah, here's a function that automatically swaps for you. It's like, and it like automatically compares and automatically swaps. It's like, okay, that's pretty cool, but like, this assignment would make way more sense if I just made that myself. Not a huge deal. It's just it makes doing her homework that much harder because it's like, okay, I need to first make the thing and know how to make it, but then also figure out what her predetermined code wants me to do to make this work. So it's like it's figuring out the thing and then also re-figuring it out in the way she wants it figured out. So it's a whole deal. Not the worst, but this area is like 2 source blocks from being completely dry. So that was a major sundown. And this is like removing bedrock. Where like to remove, like I've removed quite a bit of bedrock in my day, for multiple reasons. Like in my survival world, I tried making a portal that was kind of like it was on like a platform of bedrock that then like disappeared. Like, cause it's on the top of the nether, so it's gonna be like rings going further down around it. And I don't even know if that would have been like, well, it would have been possible. It just would have taken forever. Because removing a piece of bedrock that's like here, right? Like if you're trying to remove like this piece of bedrock, you have to remove like all of this, so you can then put the thing you need on that piece. And it just makes everything so much more complicated. It's like doing the worst puzzle. Because you finish half the puzzle Like, you know, like you finish like the edges, and then you learn to finish the next layer. You have to finish an entire other puzzle first. You're like, well, that's not fair. It's like, well, bad. This is flowing. There's one. Oh, I guess there's probably sources right there. You know, sometimes, like, this isn't exactly efficient, but it's at least entertaining. Grinding lava for so long. At some point, you gotta have a goal, other than just finish the thing you're grinding all the lava for. And my goal is to empty large portions of this basin of lava, which I already have. Like, I cleared out this whole area, but it's like, oh man, I kind of like clear that area, which I probably could have done this time, but whatever. Clear this area. Yeah, really show dominance by wiping out natural beauty. I had a thought. Really awesome, definitely, and not lame. And now it's gone. Oh man, right there. No, it's gone. Man, I hate it when that happens. It feels so bad. Because I'll be in the middle of like thinking something, switch thoughts, and then I'll be like, oh, I feel incomplete because I didn't finish the first thought. Sucks. Yeah, no, completely gone. Well, maybe it'll come back to me at some point. Oh. Oh. Sometimes I think I overdid my first stream back, because now I'm like, oh man, I don't have anything to talk about. I used all of it in the first stream. So that's pretty awesome. You know, like I feel like I'm floundering. Like I'm not really actually saying anything really. I'm just going in circles. Feels bad. I don't even know if that's what's happening. Like, as a streamer, I feel so, like, I always have to be saying new things, even though I know for the most part I probably don't have to be. But, whatever. Just, it's good to have standards. But you also have to recognize when your standards might be just a little too high. I know that there's zombies, right? But that can't be comfortable. Oh, he noticed me. I need to reread World War Z. I have like a whole reading list I've built up, and it kind of grows all the time. I've been trying to limit it from growing though, because otherwise it will never stop. But like 8 or 9 books long at this point, and they range in difficulty. Not really, well, I guess, because I wouldn't count Ready Player One, and from what I remember of Ready Player Two, difficult reads. But then I think after that, World War Z, not particularly difficult, a lot of fun though. Then I, Robot by Isaac Asimov, really good book. Then I don't remember what's next. Pet Cemetery, I think. I've been trying to read more Stephen King, but he just has so many books, it's hard to choose. So I think after Pet Cemetery, something else, and then The Shining. Because I've never read it. Or watched the movie. I've meant to a few times. Oh man, there was a movie I've been meaning to watch. I feel like that's just the story of my life. Like my watch lists, read lists, playlists, all of it, it's so long. There's so many things I've been meaning to do and just haven't done. You know, things to watch, things to read, things to play, things to... Infinite lists. Lists that will never be finished. Ever, probably. Which is super awesome. Because if they're never finished, then I always feel like I'm missing something. You know, what if that one game or that one band is actually the greatest thing I will have ever done or played or listened to or read or watched? What if... And then, but I know that most of the time I'm going to start it and then be like, oh, I don't know, it's fine. And then just move on. And they died quick. So much damage, though. Also, you'd think the things that live in hell would have better heat resistance. You know, you'd think they'd stand up to lava a little more. Instead of just dying in 3 seconds. If they live here, this place cannot have great climate. Probably, you know, pretty arid most of the time. Probably not great for your skin. I guess I don't really care, but too busy thinking about gold. And the fact that if you touch literally any gold in the nether, they will kill you. I mean, it's like gold is in the ground. No one's ever mined it before. Why are you getting mad at me? Tear apart their bastions, and they're like, oh, why are you doing that? Why are you taking the black stone the gilded blackstone that's only spawns in our bastions, making it like one of the rarest blocks in the game, but it looks really good. We should really do something about that. It's like one of the only uncraftable decoration blocks. It's like, come on, why? This character can make like anything, but they can't put some gold into some stone? They make like swords out of gold, which would suck. They're, like it would be so hard to make a sword out of gold. Like, even if you're really good at smithing, just because of how gold is, but they can't like take some stone and gild it with gold. Because that's just impossible. They make buckets that can hold lava. Like, all these things, and it's like, no, but you can't make gilded blackstone. It's just impossible. I probably would have used it quite a bit in this area if I was able to get large amounts of it. With any sort of consistency, at least. My talking's annoying me. I really don't know why. Like I just feel like I'm focusing on it too much. But sometimes you hyperfixate. Oh, I was gonna talk about the Walton Files at some point. So I just watched the newest episode, and the one thing about the Walton Files is it never really scared me. Like, it's one of the analog horror series that is a lot more analog and a lot less horror, which I'm completely fine with. Something like Greylock, just like, ugh. We're not gonna talk about Greylock. Yikes. That made sleeping tough. But the Walton Files never did. It was always more of like a, like, it was more intriguing than it was scary. Like, the animation is cool, I like the character designs, but I never really felt scared from it. Maybe a little unnerved, but even then it was mostly not. But the newest episode was really good. The creator had mentioned that, like, this is heading towards the season finale now. Like, there's only like 2 more episodes until the season's over. And they're like, you know, we expect like high quality, but maybe not like as big of projects as episode 3 called Bunny Farm. And the thing is Bunny Farm was my least favorite episode of the Walton Files, with no competition. It's really long. It's like an hour long, and it takes quite a while for anything to really happen. And most of what happens is like super cryptic, like more cryptic than the average episode of an analog horror series. Like, if you're watching analog horror, you're expect some cryptic stuff, because that's the point, especially when it's FNAF adjacent. But it got to the point where, like, it was too cryptic. I didn't really understand what was happening. It mostly cleared up towards the end of the episode, but, you know. But then episode 4 was good. I liked it. It's also nice to have an analog horror series I can watch and not, like, ruin the next 3 nights of sleep. That's nice. Maybe not what the creator wants as much, but I appreciate it. I don't think anyone goes into trying to make horror with the idea of being the series that someone watches because it's the least horrifying. Like, yeah, there's some, like, gore or whatever, but it's not, like, the worst. I just like unsettling things. Gore isn't in that kind of way where it's, like, the animated, it's not as bad. I mean, some of it, like, an episode, or, like, a few of the episodes are pretty scary, but they're usually the, like, side episodes. Like, the Halloween episode, the Scary House or something is pretty good. That one's pretty spooky. There's a take on the Christmas Carol, Boozoo's Ghosts, that's pretty good. Mostly because it's a lot more unsettling than it is trying to be regular scary. And I that's where analog horror really succeeds, is in being unsettling, not as much being creepy. There's one series I haven't watched that I've heard things about called The Painter, which is apparently has far more shock value than any actual like horror or anything. Like, it really goes for the you're gonna be more like disgusted, I guess, than you are going to be scared, and that's fucked. So there's a reason I haven't watched it. I like analog horror. There's like a few series. There's one. It's been a minute since last episode. It's called Dreams of an Insomniac. Good, made by the YouTuber Pastra. It really succeeds because of his art. Pastra is a fucking so good at making like unsettling art. Like, he recently shared what will become the should be good. He recently shared what will become the thumbnail for his Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 video, and Poppy Chapter 3 does a good job of being unsettling by itself, with Catnap's design and really all of the Smiling Critters designs, but his art really just like elevates it to another level of creepy. Like, the thumbnail was Catnap and Dog Days, and it's like, oh, that's yeah, this drawing is pretty that was pretty creepy. Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 is the only one that's ever made me consider playing the series in like any way. Like, I've never really considered it. Like, I remember when it came out and there was a whole thing about mob games stealing ideas and other general nastiness, and also it felt kind of lazy, I guess. So I was kind of a detractor at first, but you know, Chapter 3, I think it looks like it was really well made. It looks really good. Apparently it runs really well. It's like, oh, okay. They've clearly stepped up production. And also, it's really hard to hate on Poppy Playtime when Garden of Banban exists. It's hard to hate on anything when Garden of Banban exists. It is such a low bar. It's like, well, this is better than Banban. It's like, wow, that means nothing. It means it's better than something I would have written in elementary school and made in elementary school. What an honor to be better than that. What a thing. I remember when Banban first came out and it was like, oh, none of these models are optimized. They're all like super high poly for some reason. Like, every single model was like full poly at all times, no matter what. It's like, ooh, yikes, that's like game design 0 right there. Optimize. I know it can be tough to optimize, but like, you know, their models look bad enough as is. It shouldn't be a huge challenge to make them slightly lower poly. But I mean, you gotta, in some way, you have to respect the Euphoric Brothers just for the fact that they've continue to make Bandman. Even though everyone's like, why are you making this? Stop. No one likes this. No one above the age of 5 likes any of this. But they're just going still. It's the same kind of respect you have for, like, I don't know, someone who still plays a game that died forever. Like, I mean, truly died, not like a, oh, you still play like TF2 kind of thing, but more of like a, oh, I'm trying to, good example. And by TF2, I mean either TF2, Team Fortress, Titanfall, either one. Because while they may not be getting much support, they're definitely not dead. Really dead game. PUBG. I don't know, it's the first one that came to mind. You're like, oh, you're still playing PUBG? Okay. You do you, man. It's that kind of a respect where it's that, you know what, you're committed, you're fully committed. And I can respect it. I don't understand it, but I can respect it, I guess. And that's the respect I have for the Euphoric Brothers. The respect of, you know what, you started a thing and you're gonna finish it, I guess, for some reason. Probably because they're making like millions of dollars doing it. That's probably why. Like, if I can't give them credit for like sticking it out for like creative, for like artistic integrity or the want to tell a good story, because that's just not true, probably, from what I've seen. But they're still just going, even though, like, anyone who likes horror hates them a lot. Except for, like, ironically, like, plenty of people play the games ironically. Out of a, like, alright, let's see what kind of dumpster fire is gonna be this one. Plenty of that. I mean, that's like all the content I've ever watched on it. People being like, alright, let's see how bad this one is. I'm worried FNAF is gonna become that at some point. It kind of felt like that with Ruin. I felt like I was going into it expecting a garbage fire. But, you know what? What came out on the other end was just a regular fire. Not in the, like, colloquial term fire. Like, it was just normal. It wasn't, like, the best thing I'd ever played. It wasn't overly scary. Had its moments, sure, but, you know, it isn't an Amnesia: The Dark Descent kind of a thing, you know. It's not gonna be this is a game I'm gonna tell the grandkids about. It's one of those ones that, like, if someone asked me about it, I'd be like, yeah, I played it, it was pretty good. But beyond that, it's not. You know, it doesn't have the FNAF 1 push of completely creating and redoing an entire genre at the same time. Then again, few things ever did that, so it's tough to live up to. And the fact that Steel Wool even tried at all is truly remarkable. I feel like most studios wouldn't have tried. I feel like they would have, like, gotten the license and then been like, if we do anything with this, no one will respect us because we will probably ruin it. So let's just do the same thing. At least tried something new. Sometimes that's all it is, right? You don't have to love the game or the studio, but you can And respect them for at least trying. And sometimes you can't, because they didn't try. Like, when I saw ads for Skull and Bones, whenever, I don't know, a few months ago, I was like, okay, maybe Ubisoft will make something that's not terrible. Maybe. And then according to every review I've heard, it's terrible. It's like, Ubisoft, you've had the key to making literally the best pirate game since you made the best pirate game. How did you fuck it up? You made the best pirate game. You just had to do that again, and everyone been like, yep, this is what we wanted. But instead, they didn't do that. And now everyone's like, why did we even ever imagine that Ubisoft could do something good? Must have been losing our minds. Thinking that the studio that has never really done anything good would do something good. At least they changed the Assassin's Creed formula back. Because, man, I played Odyssey most of the way through. Well, I don't even know if most of the way through. I don't even know where I got in the game. I feel like it should have been all the way to the end. It took me like 70 hours. I don't even think I scratched the surface. And there's something to be said about that. It's that they probably should have made the game more concise. Because when I'm like many hours into an Assassin's Creed game, and it's like, okay, here's the piece of Eden. We're finally showing it to you. It's like, this is like the first thing I should know about. I mean, sure, they show you a piece of Eden early on. But then, like, you don't, it's not the one you're gathering. Like, you're collecting pieces of it. But, like, it's not the core one. Core 1 is apparently just Atlantis itself. Like, oh, what? Why? What? Anyway, I dislike the fact that I would be sneaking around. And I'd be like, alright, I'm gonna backstab this guy. And just destroy him. Like has been the case in every Assassin's Creed game I've ever played. And then they just, like, grab the knife and throw me off. And it's like, what? Why? I did the Assassin's Creed thing. I pressed assassinate. Why aren't you dead? So it felt like they lost a lot of their power. He was a player. You lost most of your badass assassin abilities. Because you just became, like, a normal person. Which has been true before. I mean, Edward Kenway was just some dude. He just happened to have assassin ability. They're, like, hereditary. Let's see, there's some... Yeah, right? Oh yeah, making progress on draining this now. What? Why is that? How did that get there? I placed this block. Alright, whatever. That area should be drained next loop. Ideally. Maybe even this loop. I keep forgetting about it. Otherwise it probably would be drained already. So I think there were a few. Come on, eat. That's the thing. This is what I'm dealing with. It just like it just like right clicks and then stops and then does it again and then stops and then right clicks again. It's like, oh, awesome. Wait, definitely. Right click definitely is the button that you usually need to be like super precise with. Or, nope. Not at all. Not the aim button. that's not usually a problem. You can't really hip fire in Alan Wake. You kind of gotta always aim to fire, just because there's like a melee attack you can do that to like push away enemies. And so if you're not aiming, it's like, oh, you want to do this melee push attack? And I'm like, no, I'm trying to shoot him. My mouse is just not working. So that's pretty awesome. But, you know, I'm still having a good time. Game is carried by the old gods of Asgard, though. I mean, so was Alan Wake 1. And Control in some areas. Like, they just make everything about the game better. I remember when I started playing Alan Wake 1, I was like, oh my god, I get to meet the old gods of Asgard? That's so fun. I was so excited. Because it was my absolute favorite part of Control. Was the Ashtray Maze. So I was like, oh man, I get to meet the people who made, like, the awesome song? Fuck yeah. And then I met them and they were old and insane. And then Thor killed someone with a hammer. So that was also pretty cool. Well, I think I'm gonna cut this one short. I'm still hyper fixating on my talking. And that's not fun. I'm saying S is wrong somehow. Ugh. It's annoying me a lot. Like, it's like actually like throwing me off my game. So, I think I'll head out for now. Maybe the next time I probably stream. Maybe Tuesday. Maybe. Tuesday or Wednesday, probably. Yeah. Alright. Ending the stream here. I hope you enjoyed. I know it was a bit shorter. And I kept talking about how I felt like I was talking wrong. That was probably annoying. It was annoying for me to feel like I was talking wrong. Anyway. Yeah, probably stream on Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe. We'll see. It'll probably be this. Maybe something else. I don't know. I'll see you then. Bye.